Claridge's Hotel, an icon of old-school glamour in the heart of London's Mayfair. For 130 years, it's been a home from home for world leaders, film stars and royalty.
It's almost like you're sort of entering a piece of theatre in a way, because the place is so beautiful.
Oh, hi, Christian. Hello.
Those who stay can expect impeccable attention to detail.
Oh, it says Ire on it. Oh, that's so kind.
But after decades of underinvestment, the cracks are beginning to show.
The hotel can't stay as it is because the hotel is actually dying.
To prepare for the future, the hotel is taking on a massive renovation project.
We're decking this across with another steel structure, right?
Adding 50% to its size by creating a 5-storey mega basement.
I just thought it was crazy. I thought that was absolutely crazy.
With a state-of-the-art spa.
This is the only thing I'm a little bit worried about, if Claridge's is ready for something this extreme.
And above ground, 4 new stories, topped by what's likely to be London's most expensive penthouse.
Doing this penthouse is a massive challenge. Of course it's difficult. Everything is difficult.
Wow, it just decimated the whole spa.
The boss has one overriding demand.
I was very insistent that to close the hotel was a no-no.
But staying open means building a matter of meters from the well-heeled guests.
Behind there is a building site, so that floor's gone.
Staff will be pushed to their 5-star limits.
Breakfast is always challenging when the builders are in the lift as well. Squeeze in, room for 2 pretty ones.
Protecting this renowned haven of luxury in the middle of a building site.
Probably worried about it maybe swinging, hitting the building.
Stop!
This is the inside story of the most audacious hotel upgrade ever attempted.
Good morning, Claridge's. How may I help you?
Coming in.
I think probably the better person for you to speak to is our kitchen coordinator. I'm sure he is an expert in all things bovine and milk related. Answering the phone the Claridge's way, it's a little bit like theater. Yes, of course. Every call, you have to make it sound like it's your big number in the West End. Oh, you most definitely can. Fantastic. You want to get that standing ovation every time.
The 456 staff here are the guardians of 130 years of bespoke service. Dating back to the 1890s, when Claridge's first opened its doors on a prime corner of Victorian Mayfair.
Morning, man. Have a lovely stay.
30 years later, the famous Art Deco wing was added, making Claridge's the icon it is today. But directly under this Grade 2 listed wing, there's a rumble of seismic change.
Yeah.
Coming on for a 12-hour shift, this is no ordinary construction crew.
It's still a bit too sizes too big for me.
These are miners from Donegal in Ireland. Renowned for their expertise, this team have worked on some of the world's biggest underground engineering projects, from the Channel Tunnel to the New York subway.
Oh yeah, we know it's done, mill tight. Eyes in for level.
Now, they're embarking on a mission never attempted before.
Yeah, that way. It's not these ways, that way.
Tunneling a few feet under an occupied building.
2 miners per gang down in a hole, 2 shovels and a jigger, breaking down the muck, and then you shovel it into your skip and you bring it up, and you do that continuously.
And to avoid disturbing the guests above, they're doing it by hand.
They can't.
Noise with the hotel, noise restrictions for the residents and all that. So that's why they're only using the shovels. We have a few skips and walk.
The aim of the project is to create one of the biggest basements in the country, as deep as the hotel is high. Taking over 7 years, the 5-storey, 65,000 square foot space will eventually house 2 swimming pools, a spa, a state-of-the-art wine cellar, kitchens, and laundry facilities. And for the entire duration of the build, the hotel above will be occupied with guests, paying up to £14,000 a night. The project began in 2015. The first phase has involved digging a network of tunnels across the width of the Art Deco wing, just 2 meters under the guest lounge. From here, they can begin to dig vertically down to create the foundations for the basement, while the hotel and its guests remain undisturbed.
That's it, Kevin. That's good.
In total, the miners will need to remove 45,000 tons of London clay. Through one single hole, just 2.5 meters wide at the back of the hotel.
I'll send this one down first. That's the only way we can get the muck out at the minute, is taking it out of one shaft, down another shaft, through the head and into the basement, and up into the muck bay that way.
All to keep the works as far as possible from the front of house.
Stayed with us before? Lovely. Straight through. Enjoy yourself.
Hello. Oh, thank you very much. Lovely to see you.
Just meters from the mining, maintaining the famed decorum has now got much harder.
How wonderful.
No stranger to judging performance, David Walliams is a loyal regular.
I can't think of anything that's a more quintessential British experience than coming to Claridge's. Really good, thank you very much. It's almost like you're sort of entering a piece of theatre in a way, because the place is so beautiful. It's like you're starring in some old film or something, or you're sort of walking onto the deck of the Titanic. Luckily, unlike the Titanic, this place is not going to hit an iceberg. But, you know, you just feel like you're part of this glamorous scene. Afternoon tea here is just done perfectly. It's not cheap, I'll give them that, but it is so special, it's so beautifully done. It's not something you necessarily want to do every day, because there's a lot of calories, but it's an occasion.
But for a man who's swum the length of the Thames and is conscious of his calories, there's one crucial thing missing.
I'm very excited that Claridge's are going to have their very own swimming pool, which I'd never imagined that they would have. You know, we're right here in central London. It's not easy to expand, but they're digging down. And I want to be the first person to swim in that pool. I want to declare that pool open.
What about the entrance carpet, you know, from the...
Michelle's got a sample for that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
The hotel boss, Paddy McKillen, is the mastermind behind the engineering mission.
So the ballroom carpet, the entrance carpet.
He was asked by Claridge's owners to oversee this massive build project.
When we came up with the design, most of the engineers we went to felt that the hotel had to be closed. Fantastic, yeah. Some difference. So we're just waiting on the lights now. We're going to have to cut out the front of the building and drill core through the lobby and the foyer. And we knew that if you close the hotel for 2 or 3 years, you know, you never get your customers back. The customers end up going to other places. And I was very insistent that to close the hotel was a no-no.
To protect the business and the Grade 2 listed building, Paddy had the idea of using miners to tunnel under the operating hotel. Not one engineer was prepared to take on the challenge.
JJ, send them other 2 boys down here, start bagging up. Fuck's sake.
Until Paddy met Jim Mackey.
Fucking here.
One of the most pioneering engineers in the business, Jim spent his career taking on the jobs that no one else could or would.
No, everything is behind the cut line. Just leave it there.
Only an idea as radical as Paddy's could entice him out of retirement in rural Ireland.
I think he'd maybe been frustrated up to this point by a number of people who said that it couldn't be done. So I guess his enthusiasm was born out of my eagerness or confidence that I could do it.
What I'm still concerned about, so you've got Steve Atwood's...
For the first time, Jim is working alongside his daughter, Michelle Mackey, who leads the teams as project engineer.
To try and get you where you want to be, then I feel that we need to start the temporary works next week.
There isn't the headroom required for the rig, so you...
No, I'm sorry, but I disagree with you.
No.
I think I always said I wanted to do one job, at least, with Dad.
Why did we take that out?
To probe it. Do you not read your emails?
No, I didn't get that email just yet. I didn't get to my desk.
We have some debates. I think they're healthy. Some days maybe they're a bit more tense, but I guess that's expected. OK, but you need to take it back a lot further into the hallway, because he's going to have to ramp down the... He's going to have to ramp down the rig.
Yes, well, we'll have to take it back a bit, yes.
OK.
Yes, we have a plan, and we're now going to execute the plan, and we'll just make sure that those that are holding the fort do what they're told.
We'll see.
The plan is fraught with risk. Claridge's Art Deco extension was built on a single reinforced concrete slab, cutting edge in 1929, but weak by today's standards. Underneath, supporting it though, was solid London clay. The idea is to hand dig 61 shafts, 30 metres deep into the dense earth. Concrete will be poured to form foundations and then 23-metre deep columns on which the old slab and Art Deco wing will balance, allowing the miners to excavate the earth around the shafts. So precarious is the engineering that Jim's brought in one of the leading specialists in geotechnology.
Jim's methodology for carrying out these works was revolutionary. I've not heard of anything remotely like this in anywhere in Europe or in the world. There was no case studies. It's a mining technique you do on tunnels, cross passages, but not underneath buildings. To dig out 22 meters of ground and remove all the support that the hotel relied on was actually quite outlandish.
But the multi-million-pound expansion plan doesn't just go down.
That's my main priority, getting that tin roof off, getting them X-beams out over there, then you can start work on that roof then, yeah?
The top 2 floors are being dismantled to make way for a 4-storey, 40-bedroom Victorian-style roof extension. The crowning glory is likely to be London's most expensive penthouse and will feature a swimming pool, gym, private lake, and an 1,800-square-foot grand salon. The price rumoured to be around £100,000 a night.
When do you reckon you'll have the whole lot off, the roof? The roof? Yeah. Should be done by Friday.
The work to make way for the high-rise expansion is only 8 metres above paying guests. So it too is being done solely with hand tools. Removing outdated boilers and water tanks, as well as a gym, meeting rooms, and 2 floors of bedrooms and suites.
Loads of memories.
Michael Lynch is the longest-serving of 12 private butlers. He was just 16 years old when he came to work here.
This is my favorite bathroom, and the biggest. Beautiful, very, very nice.
One of the rooms he regularly looked after was the Davis Suite, a penthouse apartment on the 7th floor, built in the 90s, but with a Victorian-style interior.
It feels very sad for me personally because it's the end of an era, really, the Davis penthouse.
We've had lots of wonderful guests, lots of wonderful occasions as well. Birthday parties, lots of weddings. It's creating memories. That's what it's all about. Beautiful fireplace gone. And when I started all those years ago, you could actually light the fires in Claridge, which was beautiful. It was part of our duty. And if you're going out in the evening for a theatre or going out, we used to come into your suite and put more logs on the fire. And there was always a fire guard who used to come and check it many times. Everything gone. Oh, I'm very traditional. I like tradition. But you know, we live in a never-changing world. We're moving forward. And we're going to have all this modern technology and a beautiful penthouse and extra rooms. And, you know, we look forward to the new era. It's going to be amazing. All change.
Throughout its history, many have treated Claridge's as a London home.
I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Thank you. I think arriving at Claridge's is like breathing out and relaxing.
Alan Gray and Graham Robeson have been coming for decades and even chose to get married here.
The pressures on your life disappear. I think there were 3 or 4 steps up to the bath, if I remember right.
Yes, correct.
Your luggage is taken away from you, everything is done for you. And there's always a glass of champagne.
When not in Claridge's, their home is a grand Norfolk vicarage where they've created, from scratch, a renowned formal garden.
If you surround yourself with niceness, you don't want to go anywhere that isn't very nice. You want to go somewhere that equals that. Tubs feel that well, I think, don't you?
Yes.
The English country house is my home. The English country garden is my home.
Why would you want to go and stay somewhere which is not as comfortable as being at home?
The reliable continuity is the reason for their love affair with the hotel.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Complete with a grand piano. This is fantastic.
What do you think of the new plans for the hotel?
I think it's very important that Claridge's do keep that sense of style when they're modernised. That does keep a sense of loyalty to the hotel.
Enjoy your stay with us.
Thank you very much. It's very kind. Thank you.
The loyalty of returning guests like Alan and Graham is critical to Claridge's. It's why the boss won't close the hotel and risk losing them. But it falls to manager Eugene Leonard to ensure that whilst they stay at the hotel, each one of the 1,500 weekly guests remain untroubled by the building work.
Losing customers that are loyal to you over decades, that have spent sizable amounts of money with you, that's really what we need to protect. There's almost just a sense of ownership for some of these guests. That's what's at stake.
And it's a difficult job, given the circumstances.
Mr. and Mrs. O in 420 complained about construction noise. Mrs. W in 121 complained about the noise in the early morning, starting from 7 a.m. And as she had initially booked a classic suite, then decided to upgrade to a Mayfair suite, she asked if her rate could be reduced to the initial rate of 3,250 instead of 360. So we agreed to that, and we'll just go and monitor the noise for the remainder of the stay.
There's significant liability, you know. This company has built up a reputation over centuries for service and quality.
If the risk of disruption becomes too high, Eugene has been given the power to close down the building work entirely.
How are you doing? We got a call today.
What was it? The noise?
Yeah, it's they can hear the scaffolding and the drilling and everything like that. We have literally brought the project to a complete halt. Every single worker didn't come to work today because we just needed absolute silence.
when people book, if they book a room or a suite or a penthouse, then do they get told about the works?
What'd you have to ask that question?
Why are you laughing?
Because that's a difficult one.
To keep both the guests and the builders happy, the front of house team have devised a traffic light system for hotel events.
So the orange is for proceed with caution. Is it soft noise that you can make? Is it proper drilling, or is it absolutely no noise? Then we have the red, which I'll definitely be using this weekend because we have a wedding, so there's no noise at all. And then we have the purple, which is again no noise at all, but it's for speeches. So it's complete silence. And then the green is no restrictions. If you had a cocktail party for 500 people, they're making more noise than the drilling is, so of course then we would say proceed with caution.
Every day, Mathilde must manage the needs of those responsible for the build and the front of house team.
The last thing I want is for Michelle to report, or Norman to report back to you, Eugene and Paul, and say, you know, we're behind 100 hours of work because Mathilde told us to stop everything.
Pass the galleys to bracket, please.
The miners have been digging under the hotel for 1.5 years. They've built 32 columns, just over half the total, working inwards from either end to ensure the slab is supported at its vulnerable centre.
Who's coming over the shaft?
Each hand-dug shaft is lined with 1.8-metre diameter steel rings. And then at the centre, another 60-centimetre tube into which reinforced concrete is poured to form the columns.
It's a very difficult job. They have to really think about how they're going to manoeuvre into the spaces that they are, and they have to get on. There's 2 of them down there. It's a very, very close space. They need to be in a bit of a rhythm with each other as well with the work.
There's just a narrow gap allowing miners access right to the very bottom. Only when each story is fully excavated will the steel rings be removed, revealing the columns. 24 hours a day, 12 hours on, 12 hours off, the miners keep digging.
They get 45 minutes to an hour for each break, but as you can see, it's difficult work. Like, you'll burn off 3,000 or 4,000 calories there, no bother.
Pit boss Mick Lyons started work in an Irish coal mine when he was 18. Like his team, most of his working life has been spent underground.
90% of the boys here are Donegal. It's just bred into them. They don't know anything different than mining. They've worked all over the world. The job is, you do sweat. The boys like to sweat. They're used to it. If nobody comes up out there without a wet T-shirt, well, he's probably asleep.
It's a bit more difficult starting off at the top. The ground's wet. Once you get down 4 metres, 5 metres, it'll dry up. You get into the clay.
Do you know what Claridge's hotel is like?
Not at all, only what they're telling me. I haven't ever been beyond this floor.
What do they tell you?
Well, it's completely luxurious, if you got the dash. But we've been told this is our level. We have no reason to be upstairs. Or
Hello, man. You're right. Fine, thanks. Beautiful day. So what are you doing here, not Wimbledon? I thought you'd be at Wimbledon watching the tennis.
He's going to Wimbledon.
Oh, when? Today or tomorrow?
Final.
The final? Yeah. Any spare tickets?
I know.
Yeah, bless you. Listen, nice to have you here.
Thank you.
And have a lovely day, yeah? Anything you need, just shout.
It's the height of the London summer social season, but the hotel doesn't have the capacity to meet the huge demand. Not only have 2 stories been dismantled, hotel boss Paddy has charged his build director, Norman McKibben, with refurbishing the majority of the remaining rooms.
You don't need to get in there, but the problem you have here is this is still a live corridor.
Taking even more bedrooms out of service.
If there's someone in 507, whenever they leave, if you have this room till we do 507.
And to make things harder, the renovations have revealed the results of decades of underinvestment.
The whole thing's just about to collapse. There's cracks everywhere. Sadly, in Claridge, the infrastructure didn't keep up with modern times. Mark, just a quick one. We're walking around with Eugene. Can you get on the boys that's moving the furniture? They've left like lamps and all behind in the rooms. The guys are going mad demolishing, and there's Lindley lamps at $2,000 sitting in the friggin' room. We've actually found floors that are completely starting to decay. You know, they've had leaks over for a long period of time. We're like surgeons operating on a patient. The cancer is so far gone, it's either complete cut out and start again, or it'll just die.
Eugene has these rooms booked at upwards of £500 a night.
What rooms are live here, Eugene?
None of them.
And he needs them back in service urgently.
The boss was here. He wasn't happy with the colours. They picked new colours today. Huh? Paddy's here Tuesday, Wednesday. Paul, the one thing I have to make sure is there's no squeaks on these floors.
And with Paddy due to inspect 4 newly refurbished rooms in the next few days, there's a lot to do.
Have you got a lot of bad news to deliver?
No, it's not. No, it's not. It actually started off that way, but now we'll move on to the more positive.
Are you coming in? These lights are beautiful.
Aren't they gorgeous?
Do you know how much they are?
Yeah, I think that they're about 2,000 each.
Paddy may run a business worth hundreds of millions, but he doesn't miss the smallest detail.
We're going to change these, aren't we?
Yeah, those are being changed.
Too much amber or gold going on here, right? Look, everywhere it's a bit too muchy.
Yeah.
You know, the idea here was that there's a little, what we call a finial on the top there. It just takes away the industrial look.
I'll chase.
Yeah. Again, bit of leather in here.
Yeah.
The luxury level where we are is always under pressure. So we have to keep ahead of the posse. Our guests demand it, and our guests expect it.
But I love the way it's recessed there. Beautiful.
Over 90 top designers and artists have been commissioned to style the new and refurbished rooms.
They're beautiful.
That's absolutely stunning.
All one-off pieces. Genius. Our guests love different characters, so by the time we're finished, Claridge's would probably have like 280 rooms, every one of them different, not one the same. Do you know these are my sister's prints?
Yeah,
These are all antique lace. Beautiful.
It's absolutely stunning as a picture, I have to say.
Yeah. I see they've got Damien's print up, huh? Yeah. Oh, the difference in the art is amazing, huh?
Paddy has even called in a favour from his friend and world-renowned artist, Damien Hirst.
You know, Damien did 200 prints for us. Such a friend of Claridge's, huh? Beautiful.
In the past, Damien's taken up residence at the hotel.
Yeah, I had a studio in Claridge's where I was painting. And Paddy just went, look, I'll give you a room. You can have it the whole time. I said, but what about trashing it up? Because we'll redo the room when you're finished. So it's like I got paint all over the carpets, the mirrors, the wall, the floor, and I made loads of paintings in there. As soon as I moved out, they just ripped the whole room out and redid it. And, you know, I didn't get charged. You know, I give them a painting or whatever, and everybody's happy.
And now Damien's accepted a novel commission for the new 4-storey roof extension, using his trademark butterfly theme.
Paddy called me up and said to me, have you ever done stained glass windows, kid? And I said, I have now. I think he might have even sent me a picture of one of my butterflies that he'd made into a stained glass window, just like, you know, roughly on the computer. And he went, do you think this looks good? I said, looks great. You know, it's like a 3D painting, but with light, so it works really well.
Hi, mate. How you doing? Checking in?
Every year, Claridge's hosts an exhibition in the lobby by eminent artists, including Damien.
We've brought some art along. Usually every year around this time, because of so much interest in the art world in London, kind of coinciding with Frieze and lots of different auctions and things, we usually bring a piece of art and kind of almost use the lobby as a gallery for a week or a few weeks, or in this case, we're going to have this for a month.
deep underneath the Art Deco wing, after 2 years of hand digging, the last of the 61 basement columns is nearing completion. As each new row of columns is finished, the weight of the 36,000-ton hotel is gradually moved onto its new foundations.
12:63, and the time is 10:29.
Today is a critical day. Michelle, Dinesh and the team are preparing to transfer the building onto its final set of columns.
Sean, did you find us a second gauge?
There you go, two bonds.
So what we're looking at here is the finished column head, which was poured a couple of days ago. Today we have to transfer all the load from the building, and we need to see whether that's going to have any repercussions throughout the building, whether there's cracks, whether the building doesn't perform how we're expecting it to. So it's a big deal.
F9 is 2.57. The Claridge building is sitting on a concrete slab that looks like a cracker. What you're doing is removing that ground and replacing it with a series of foundations and columns. So the whole of the raft is now sitting on the legs of a table, effectively. And if it doesn't have enough flexibility, one side of the raft could suddenly tilt and bend, and you can get cracking occurring. And if cracks occurs, then it jeopardizes the whole stability of the structure.
To ensure that flexibility, 2 circular hydraulic jacks, each with a capacity to bear 1,100 tons, the equivalent of 3 jumbo jets, have been fitted to the top of each column head. As the discs begin to push up on the slab, they take the weight of the hotel. And as the hotel settles, the jacks can compensate for up to 2.8 centimetres of sinking or rising, keeping the hotel level.
Let's go, let's go.
Thank you. Nobody move.
It's the first time this kind of weight transfer has been done under a live, populated building.
So this stage of the operation is really critical. We've got to make sure that the raft is pretty level.
The weight needs to be evenly balanced across the foundations. Uneven or differential settlement at the base could be disastrous.
The result of differential settlement is that you will get severe damage to the fabric of the listed structure. There are some beautiful marbles and cornices and plasterwork throughout the hotel at risk of, unrepairable damage.
2.07
2.07
on the dial gauge. We're just doing one last round of readings, which will then give us the final load that we put into the columns as part of this jacking. This is the last one. Can you shine a torch on that, please? 48.14.
D9, 48.14.
Are we there?
With the transfer complete, the question is, have any of the columns moved more than the jacks can handle?
Today we have jacked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've jacked 10 columns today. We've put load into the columns, so now the building is supported by the columns and not by the ground. The idea behind this jacking is to attract the load into the new structure in a kind of controlled way, and we think we've done that. So a successful day. It doesn't actually look any different to the beginning of the day. It looks exactly the same, but we know that we've actually relieved a whole load of load from all of these frames in the ground behind here, and only we really know that because we've got these measurements from the jack pressure readings on the new columns. So it's safe to remove the frames.
Such is the high-risk nature of the project, the slab will be monitored for 3 years, with sensors taking readings every 5 minutes. But so far, upstairs, the earth hasn't moved for the guests.
Guys, cheers!
A mini break at Claridge's has become a regular luxury fix for Paul and Vicky Dunthorne. Their habit started 3 years ago.
I remember being very nervous that we were coming somewhere so posh and so lovely.
We'd never been anywhere like this before. Our daughter had moved to London the previous year, and I was terrified about coming and visiting. So Paul suggested to find a nice hotel and we'd have a weekend in a nice hotel and shopping.
You sold it to me. Basically, you've got parking and there's a bottle of champs in the price. And you thought, well, that's a no-brainer then. We'll go there.
Today, Vicky and Paul are in one of the newly signed-off refurbished rooms.
OMG. Wow. That's fabric on the wall.
That's nice,
Fabric. I'm not going to touch it, that's fabric on the wall.
If you're not careful, you can get a bit hooked on it. So that's...
I do some kind of...
hooked on it?
I call it my cocaine. I do say Claridge's is my cocaine.
News of the massive construction has reached them.
It's pretty bold. Do you think they'll pull it off? They have a knack of... Yeah, you don't see how it's done, they just get on with it and magically it appears. But I understand a little bit of the problem that they've got in trying to achieve that with people in the hotel. And us not noticing, perhaps.
With the hotel constantly striving to keep loyal guests like Paul and Vicky happy, a recent landmark birthday was the perfect opportunity for a unique surprise.
I was presented with this menu, which is signed by everybody. I'd got my own cocktail menu with 5 bespoke cocktails made for me, with a dedication to me in the front, and all the bar staff had signed it. And I'll treasure that forever. They are an extension of our family.
We've pushed the boat out the last couple of years.
We haven't had a holiday this year, but we've had some nice days at Claridge's. So I wouldn't have it any other way. We've got no savings, but we've got some fabulous memories.
Yeah,
fabulous memories.
Go on inside, have a nice time.
Morning, sir. See you later on. Bye-bye.
It's autumn 2018, 3 years into the construction project. On the roof, they're stuck. They can't remove anything else through the hotel, so to continue the project, they need to crane material to and from the street.
I think by the time we get that wagon offload, that'll be it for today, you know what I mean? Some days will be better than others.
But Westminster Council won't allow the base of a crane to obstruct Mayfair's roads for the 2 years it's needed.
You know there's going to be problems. It's the boy that gets over them. It's how you get out of it quickly is the thing.
So the build director, Norman McKibben, has come up with an audacious plan.
The only place the tar crane can go in is in the service lifts that the in-room dining and the butlers use.
Norman wants to plunge the crane through the middle of the hotel. The lifts and the entire back wall will be removed to double the space and make room for the 50-metre high crane capable of carrying upwards of 6 tons at a time.
So when you're sitting in Claridge just having your afternoon tea, there's a tar crane literally at the other side of the wall.
The crane's position will also mean moving the entire prep kitchen and pantries.
It's rather like moving from a 5-bedroom house to a 2-bedroom flat with all the furniture and even a bit of new furniture as well. So the guests don't need to know what's happening. We just need to operate from a different place in the hotel.
So that's the order coming in for a particular room. Because of the construction that's going on, the cranes that are used for this are now, the base for them is where our pantry used to be.
Boiled eggs, medium, so 4:30.
Now, with only one designated lift, room service has to take a circuitous route to the bedrooms.
This order is for 8:45, so I'll leave here before 8:40. Because if the lift is going the wrong way or it's full, I'm in trouble.
Have you ever delivered a breakfast that wasn't piping hot?
Oh, never. I was sure. No, never. No. Okay, let's go. I'll be back in a few moments.
Continuing this level of service means getting ahead of the morning rush.
Breakfast is always challenging. When the builders are in the lift as well, they clear out, and then we have all the housekeeping staff with the linen. Always find people in the lift at that time.
You know, getting a guest breakfast up to their room or coffee in the afternoon, it becomes quite a different undertaking. As we go from using their normal hyper-fast lifts and dedicated just for them, we now have to get all that room service upstairs whilst using other lifts that are used for different things.
Squeeze in, room for two pretty ones. First one, one squeeze in, ladies.
It's a little bit of a challenge, isn't it?
Good morning, Mr. Smith. Breakfast. Thank you very much, sir. Have a good day. Wow. On time.
Down in the lift shaft, they're also up against a deadline.
This was a hidden nasty yesterday, so this was just boxed out.
I would say that's coming from the sinks upstairs.
As Michelle and Norman adapt the space to accommodate the crane, they've hit a snag.
We take the lagging off it just to give as much as possible, and then try and protect it somehow.
We'll leave the lagging on until they come.
There are power cables and water pipes into the hotel, all the way up the shaft.
Why do we need to take all them pipes away if we're just pouring a base to here?
The base is coming out to here, but when we lower everything down, you want all these pipes in the way.
There's a massive copper pipe there. Why do we need to move it?
But I need to demolish that slab to make room. We have to form an opening through the floors for the tower crane. But there's still live cables running through here, which can't just be switched off straight away. We have to try and divert them out of our way to get this void done because we're under pressure for a crane date. This needs to be done by Saturday morning. It's Thursday.
The tower crane has been booked to go in 4 days' time. If they miss their slot, council permission to close the road won't be granted for another 2 months.
It's very much a death or glory type operation. We are locked into a crane erection date, which is immovable. A huge amount of money has been paid to Westminster City Council to obtain the necessary road closures and licenses for this to happen. If we miss the date, you're talking about delays at the cost of which could run into millions of pounds.
Jim and Michelle do at least have some cause for celebration. Underground, they've reached a significant milestone. The hand digging is over, the hotel is suspended on the 61 new columns. And the work has begun to excavate around them to create the 5 cavernous stories, removing 5,000 cubic metres of earth on each level.
We start doing what's known as a top-down excavation, where we excavate down just to the first level, which is the B1 basement.
With heavy machinery assembled underground, they can now make much faster progress.
We cast that slab, join all the columns up together at that level.
Thousands of tons of reinforced concrete will join all the columns to form the floor of each basement and the ceiling for the level below.
Then we go in underneath that, do the B2 slab, etc., etc. So the very last slab we'll do will be the lowest one, the B5 slab.
This 5-storey dig to the bottom B5 should only take a year.
It's the biggest basement in the UK carried out in this way, certainly.
Directly above the excavation is the mirrored Art Deco ballroom. Society events and high-profile weddings are booked here months, sometimes years in advance.
So are there any last-minute changes?
One of the most glamorous events in the hotel's social calendar is Harper's Bazaar Women of the Year.
So Lydia, you're table number 6. So we've got you sat next to Helena Bonham Carter, one of our December cover stars.
Celebrating outstanding talent in the fields of art, film and philanthropy.
OK, perfect. And Kate Blanchett?
But with the works a few metres below the ballroom, building noise could easily send vibrations through the event.
At the the moment, we are directly underneath the ballroom. If they hear anything at all, it's a difficult situation.
It's exactly the moment for Mathilde's traffic light system.
We can proceed with caution, but we only block the noise from when the guests are here. So the setup, you know, we go ahead with the noise and the loadout as well. It's just very important that it's when the guests are here. Since we have this in place, they know that it's helpful and it helps us and it helps everybody. So one team, one goal.
OK, guys, everybody stand up for me, please.
It's 2 hours before the A-list guests are due to arrive.
The event we're doing tonight has got a lot of VIP guests in it.
The hotel has strict celebrity protocols.
Lots of faces that you might recognise. Just treat it like you're working on any other shift, any other event. Is that all clear, guys? Yeah. We've got 209 guests. We've got 45 staff, OK? If someone doesn't abide by these rules, I will have no problem in sending you home straight away. Is that understood, guys? Yeah. Good.
It's a very special event on our calendar. Obviously, with these A-listers, they have incredibly high expectations, and so the pressure is on the team. There is absolute military precision going on behind the bay's doors.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Amazed. Gobsmacked. Can't believe this has been happening and we've been hosting events just above. It makes the noise schedule worth it, doesn't it?
Thanks, my darling. Have a lovely Christmas.
Oh, it's extremely busy. Christmas is coming, so we got a full house.
It's December, and preparation for the festive season is in full swing.
All the guests, they get something special for Christmas. We have some Lauren Paris champagne. This is a special chocolate stack for Christmas, and this is a beautiful fruit cake. At this time of year, our guests are very relaxed, and they just want to be pampered and spoiled, and we had to, you know, try and create the wow factor, really.
Yep, stand her up.
Downstairs in the lobby, the centrepiece of the Christmas celebrations is beginning to take shape.
Do you want another body on that? Are you all right?
Since 2009, famous fashion designers have been invited to erect their own version of the Claridge's Christmas tree, with figures like Karl Lagerfeld and John Galliano each taking their turn.
Up as it is, yeah?
Budgets are never really discussed. That's too vulgar a thing to talk about. As we always like to say, you can't put a price on magic.
This year, French shoe designer Christian Louboutin is designing the Christmas spectacle with a 90-strong construction crew.
The idea of getting someone to design a Christmas tree was such a genius stroke all those years ago because it's such a hugely anticipated thing now and it's incredibly popular.
Oh!
And there's an addition to the tree in the form of Christian's Loubi Express train with its very own cocktail bar.
There'll be a conversation about what's gone on in previous years and what can we do that's different or what can we do that's new. And I think they've kind of nailed it this year with this train idea.
There, my love.
It's full steam ahead as the team work through the dead of night to avoid disturbing the guests.
So a bit more snow, and then I think we're done.
Up on the roof, the build team are also up against it. And to make matters worse, Jim's had hotel management on the phone.
There's been a knee-jerk reaction, right? You make noise, somebody complains, some guest paying £10,000 a day or whatever, he complains, then somebody's got to give him a discount of £5,000, and then everybody complains, and therefore, you know, it's a kind of vicious circle. So we're trying to thread a tower crane mast down through a very small lift shaft, literally just a partition wall away from them. There are five-star rooms and suites with, on some occasions, Hollywood A-listers staying in them.
And Jim's bad day just got worse.
Darkland people have sent an email saying that anticipated weather conditions are not favourable.
The forecasted wind speeds for the day of the crane erection are not looking good.
They are not prepared to erect the crane unless we agree to compensate them if the weather doesn't allow them to erect it. Basically, gun to the head time.
Even if delayed by the weather, the crane firm requires a fee of £40,000.
It's, you know, bang, tell us you're going to pay us, or we ain't coming.
If they do have to reschedule, Jim's firm will have to pay again.
I can't use the terminology I want to use.
It's launch night for the hotel's annual Christmas spectacle. All eyes are on the 5-metre tree and the Luby locomotive.
I was thinking of a train for a very simple reason. It's because I live in Paris, so when I come to London, I take the train. And I'm thinking, I wish the train would go straight to the Claridge.
Here we are celebrating Christmas, and it's going to bring thousands of people into the hotel. The vast majority of them will have absolutely no clue that this major construction project is taking place.
You're going to come back, yeah? Half hour. There's half hour wait. Yeah? All right.
The day Jim's been waiting for has arrived. In an impressive feat of engineering, the team will plunge a 50-metre crane through the middle of the hotel, just metres from the festivities.
Well, fellas, out the road. Out the road.
How quickly could we get that on if we went and spoke to McGee's and shut them down for an hour or two?
Despite the weather forecast, Jim's decided to go ahead.
Driver, you've got to go around him.
The 30-strong team are standing by to hoist the crane section by section, 80 metres above Mayfair.
Okay, up you go there, Bob.
We've been talking about this crane for at least a year, practically for the project. I think this is a big milestone, getting this in.
And away you go, up you go.
It's a 2-stage process.
Why don't you just give it a little nudge round to your right and also just so I can give it a little turn again.
First, the 50-metre mast must be hoisted to the roof in sections before being dropped down through the heart of the hotel.
Little nudge to your left, just coming down. Here, you're coming down. Keep going, bud. Nearly there. Easy up.
Just one a few inches. Everybody watch your fingers. Down through. The tower crane mast is an extremely tight fit within the shaft.
Right, down you go again on the hoist.
Within the shaft, there are projecting into it a number of key mechanical and electrical installations which are critical to the day-to-day operation of the hotel.
As it's lowered, each section of the crane passes just centimetres from the wires and water pipes that supply the entire hotel.
So a sway 20 or 30 millimetres either way while the mast section is being lowered could cause serious damage to those installations.
Hold it.
Hold it. Hold it, hold it, hold it. No, just let him clear the top channel. It looks good.
6 hours later, stage 1 is successfully completed and none of the hotel supplies have been cut off.
Flags are getting a bit jumpy again.
I think we're going to go for 3 taglines on the crane anyway.
control it.
But the weather is beginning to turn, just as the team enter the most critical stage. The hoisting of the 50-metre horizontal jib arm.
Yeah, we're already up here.
That's it. Keep going, Mucker.
Anything above sort of 19, 20 miles an hour will stop them from lifting. The moment the weather forecast showing wind speeds above sort of 21 to 20, we're getting sort of 28, 29, 30.
Stop!
The jib arm has been caught by a gust of wind.
Slow your crane to the left, Will.
Easing up now, mate. Easing up, coming in quick.
All right, ease up.
Fingers. Oh, there, mate.
But it's up there safely. The blokes have got hold of it, and yeah, they're just about to pin it. You just need to jib back a good few more metres, Mucker. That's all. It's all smiles all round at the end of the day, you know. And they can carry on building their building, and we'll move on to the next job.
12 hours later, final checks complete, the jib arm swings out over the rarefied streets of Mayfair.
This is a big unlocker to the project, I think. Great to see it finally happening.
Oh, hi!
With the crane now towering confidently over the hotel, the next stage of the hotel's luxury rooftop extension can begin.
I'm pleased to see that that my hard work to get the crane up has actually come into fruition.
You're driving
Before you start claiming it all of your own doing.
Oh no, I'm claiming every single bit of it. I told you, I warned you about this already. No, she took all the glory because she said if she hadn't given me a boot in the backside, it would never have been done. But anyway, that's us. Hopefully that's us done now.
Yeah.
When this jib goes on.
We'll go back to our basement.
Next time, in the mega basement, they're on the verge of a breakthrough.
At the minute, he's less than a metre away from a vertical shaft. Oh!
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
The new face of the hotel begins to take shape.
There you go. A little bit of Claridge's.
Coming up!
Years of work is coming down to this moment. We hope everybody's done their part right.
Hold it!
And young blood brings a fresh perspective.
Guys, you have no idea what I've just walked into. This place is insane.